Hi and welcome to Easy Fishing on a beautiful sunny afternoon. And today this video is about getting your children started in fishing as cheaply as possible. It's the school holidays, admittedly. I should have got this video done earlier because there's only a couple of weeks or so left of the school holidays, but plenty of time to get them into a lifelong hobby that will get them out in the fresh air and away from computer screens, Game Boys or whatever it is your children play on. So I intend to run through the gear you need, how to set it up and how much does it all cost. So first thing you need to do is to pay a visit to your local tackle shop preferably. If you haven't got one near you, eBay is a good alternative. And what do you want to buy? You want to look for what is called a 3-meter whip, which is one of these. It's a telescopic 3-piece rod, no reel involved, dirt cheap. This one, £8. Now when you take the cap off, it telescopes out into a 3-meter rod known as a whip. That's the first major bit of equipment. The second thing you will need is a float, line, shot and weights. And conveniently these days you can buy a very high quality ready to go rig for £4. The one I've chosen today is manufactured by a British firm called Drennan, and this is what you want to look for. It's called a Drennan AS3 Silverfish and F1. This one at the top here, it says 0.4 of a gram, and that is the amount of weight needed to shot the float correctly. So what do? First of all, just open the packet, take it out, and you'll find a beautiful little plastic winder with a float, line and hooks and weights already on it. One item you will need is either a very small elastic band, or in my case just a bit of scrap pole elastic to act as a rubber band. Just stretch that over the whip and place it about a foot above the end. So basically you've got where you hold the whip and the rubber band is just above your hand. So carefully unwind the float and line from the holder. On the end of the holder you'll see a little what they call a pole anchor. It's basically a length of shaped rubber. If you lose it, a small elastic band will suffice. Now, taking your rig, unwind it carefully from the winder, being careful not to tangle it. When you get it off, sorry about the door slamming in the background. When you get it off, you'll find you're left with a very small hook here. This is a size 18, barbless, and some weights to cock the float, and then the float itself. The float is a very high quality float, will last a long time provided you don't step on it or lose it. Right, so next thing, take your hook in your hand and place it underneath the rubber band on the butt, like so. So it's just held in place like that, so it keeps it out of harm's way. Then unfortunately you will need to shorten the line above the float, because it will be too long for the whip. So what I'm going to do is just show you a dead simple knot. I'm doing this assuming you know nothing about fishing. So to tie this simple knot, I've taken a length of thick green fishing line, just so you can see it easily. And all you just do is double the end over. Let's put the rod down. Double the end over so it's like this, so it looks like a loop. Take the loop, double it back on itself. So it looks like this. Take this loop and pass it through the loop you've just formed 3 times. I'm only going to do it twice on this because it's very thick line. Wet it. I use saliva, but water will do. And you're left with a knot with a loop that looks like this. Now, what you need to do is to tie that in the end of your line. It's dead simple. It's basically a granny knot tied into a loop. It's not the strongest knot in the world, but it will do. Then what you do is you take the end of your line like this, open it up with your fingers, grab the main line and pull it through the loop you've just formed. So it looks like this. Then you take the end of your whip, pass it over the metal eye and merely pull it tight behind the metal eye so it looks like that. And there you have it, securely fastened. So it's dead simple. Practice with a bit of thick string at first before you cut up your fishing line. Makes it easier once you've tied the knot a couple of times, but it is dead easy. And there you have it. You're ready to fish. Now, a couple of other very small items you need are one, it's called a plummet. So this is a plummet, a small cone-shaped weight made of non-toxic metal these days. Small loop at the top through which you pass your line and hook, and a section of cork in the base to put your hook in. So it's dead easy. Just take the hook from underneath your rubber band, pass it through the eye of the float of the plummet like this, and nick the hook into the cork so it looks like this. There you go, couldn't be easier. Why do you need that? You need that to tell you how deep the water is. So basically you drop this in the water and it will pull the float down. Because it's heavier than the float, it will sink the float. So if your float sinks out of view, you know the water is deeper than that and you have to move your float up the line. Conversely, if your float sits on the top, slide it down the line till just the tip is showing. And in this case, it's an orange tip of about 1.5 centimeters long. And what you want to do is then slide it down so that the float ends up just under the surface of the water, which means that the hook is then resting about 1 centimeter off bottom. And that's it. You're ready to start fishing. Couldn't be simpler, could it? No reels, no nothing to mess about with. The only knot you have to tie is a one-off knot to tie the loop at the tip of the rig, and you're ready to go. One other thing you will need is a disgorger for getting the hook out. It's got a little piece of plastic, sometimes metal, with a little thing on the end there to get the hook out. About 50p. So to get yourself going, £8 for a whip, £4 for the rig, which is this, 50 pence for a plummet and 50 pence for a disgorger. So you're talking 8, 12, 13 pounds. Now, I don't know about you, but you wouldn't get a cinema ticket for that, and this will go for a long time and catch a lot of fish, and keep the kids out of trouble, get them into the fresh air. A couple of other things you might want to consider. I would suggest you carry either one of those little dispenser bottles of hand sanitizer, or a packet of economy baby wipes. I've seen them from my local Tesco's, 50p. A scrap of old toweling, tea towel or a bit of old towel, doesn't matter, just to wipe their hands on. Carrier bag carries everything that you need, and I would suggest a drink or something to eat for the kids. And I would suggest that you use a screw top cap, not a metal can. One of the reasons for the carrier bag: put your rubbish in at the end of the day. As anglers, we do tend to get very cross about people who leave rubbish, because it can get us into a lot of trouble and lose us fishing rights. All your items that you need will fit into one of these little, I don't know what you call them, clip top food containers. I'm sure your mum will let you have one. If not, they're available for about £1. Something to keep your bait in. Again, one of these like little disposable plastic food containers. If you go to a shop and buy maggots, they normally will sell you them in this. If you want to use worms, you can they normally come in a small plastic tub. If you want to use bread, then you need a loaf of bread, medium sliced white, for about £1. If you want to fish bread, there is one item you will need, however. It's not expensive and it will last a lifetime, and that is what is known as a bread punch. Here's a set of bread punches. They're basically a handle with a metal, or in this case brass or something, tube on the end with a slot cut in the side of it. And you push them into a slice of bread, it punches out a neat circle, you pass your hook through the slot and hook your bread on. And that's it. Now, cost wise, if you include just the tackle, about £13. Half a pint of maggots, which is probably all you'll need to get started, is about £2 from a tackle shop. A small tub of worms is about £1.80, and a loaf of bread is about £1. So if you bought the bread punches, the loaf, maggots, worms, etc., and the bread punches, I guess you're talking about £20 or thereabouts, maybe 21. And there you go, set up for a life of fun. Your kids will thank you for it, and I'll tell you something, you catch them catching fish and they will be fascinated, and they'll probably want to go back again and again and again. And to be honest, you bring yourself a nice comfortable chair and a book, you can sit beside them at the waterside and relax, and keep an eye on your kids. So that's it. I hope you all enjoy this, and if you have any questions on any of this stuff that I've shown in the video, I would suggest you go and look at my back catalogue on Easy Fishing on YouTube, and there you'll find over 100 videos that will explain, especially at the beginning of them, how to set this all up, how to tie the knots, how to use a bread punch, how to make bread for bait, etc. And there you go. Happy days. And I hope you all have a lot of fun. So bye for now.